We'll start with a 7 plus a negative 2. I guess a basic understanding of what it is you're doing is going to help you go to the right place. Whatever your first digit is your starting point, if you want to keep it in the order that it's in. So if I can visualize starting at a positive 7 thereabouts, adding a negative 2 is really just like taking 2 away, right, Raven? So where does that put me? 5. Okay. Very similarly, if you had an 8 plus a negative 11, an 8 plus a negative 11 is going to be just like starting at an 8 but taking 11 away, Mark, negative 3. A negative 8 plus a 4, yeah, it's going to be a negative 4. Now, let's take a look at these three for a second. Once you've got an idea of what they're really saying to you, you can do some adjusting. You can do some moving things around if you want to make things maybe look easier for yourself, which may or may not be that beneficial right now. But once you get into working with numbers that are larger, maybe decimals, maybe it would be in your best interest to explore some of these possibilities. How about this first one, 7 plus a negative 2? How could I rewrite that problem and have it mean the same exact thing? Raven. 7 minus 2. Okay, how about can I mess with the order? You're right, 7 minus 2 is essentially what we're doing. What if I wanted to take this negative 2 and put it in the front? What if I want that as my starting point instead? Could I? Raven, plus 7. Would I still end up with a positive 5 in that situation? Sure. What did I get rid of? Parentheses, which maybe you freak out still when you see them. I don't know. But these values now, what does the addition sign really mean? It really means I'm just going to take those two values and cram them together. Throw them together. Whether I got one first or the other one first, it doesn't matter. I'm going to throw them together and see what comes out. So I can move the order. How about here? How could I rewrite that one? Marlia. Negative 11 plus 8. Maybe I want to start at negative 11. Maybe I want to start over here. I want to add 8. Go that way. I should still end up at negative 3, right? How about this one? Rewrite the last one. Mark. How about even easier? 4 minus 8. Give us negative 4 still? Okay. So those are some of the things that you can do. You can rearrange. You can switch the order as long as the signs stay consistent. I mean signs, this blue 7 is a positive 7. Whether it's here or whether I put it there, it's still positive. Okay? Those have to stay consistent. That's actually a skill that you'll be using once we start to get into more familiar territory to you. You'll be moving these values around, but making sure you keep with them, kind of like their attitude, like someone that has like an extremely positive attitude. You can move that person around wherever you want. Their attitude is going to stay the same. Same as with a negative attitude. Move them around all you want. Chances are they're going to take that negative attitude with them. It's very similar. Now they go through and they talk about rules of addition. They talk about properties, commutative, associative. What's the commutative property? Remember the commutative property? They give you a review on page 75. Marlia? Usually when you're adding only two numbers, a plus b is going to equal b plus a. Just like we did, right? Did we just use the commutative property? Absolutely. Associative, the way you group them does not change the sum. So usually we're talking about 3 or more numbers. Doesn't matter if you're adding, you take them in any order. Identity, the sum of a number and 0 is that number. And inverse, the sum of a number and its opposite is 0. Okay. Add real numbers. Now, here is an example that they give us right in the middle of page 75, which is going to test your knowledge of some of the things that we had just talked about. A negative 5.3 plus a negative 4.9. So what's the rule that you need to remember with decimals? First of all, anytime you add or subtract with decimals, you need to what? Line them up, okay? Well, before we do that, let's try to figure out exactly what it is we're doing, okay? Do we want to keep the problem the way it is? Do we want to mess with the order at all? Any thoughts, Mark? What kind of 5.3? So you kept the order the same, you just clarified it a little bit. That's fine, okay? Now, what's really happening is I'm starting at the negative 5.3 and I'm subtracting 4.9. Am I getting further positive or am I getting further negative in this particular problem? Yes. I'm getting further positive. I'm going to the right. Where am I going? Mark. Yeah, I mean, if I want to say that's my starting point, negative 5.3, and I subtract 4.9, Catherine, I'm going this way, I'm getting more negative. So essentially what happens to those two values, if I know I'm getting more negative, does that mean I don't do any adding in this at all? Do I do any adding in this at all, Mark? I need to add these together to know exactly how much or how far negative I'm going. Did I end up at 10.2 over here because of it? No, I already know I'm going over here, so it's a negative 10.2. Yes, ma'am. I worry when we do those, when we say those statements. I worry when we say, so when we do this, we do this. Why does that make me worry? Because I'm worried how to answer that question. What I will say to you is take each problem as it comes. Don't try to make these. We always want to try to take shortcuts with the math and algebra and try to, like, if we can come up with one rule that will cover every single situation, we're going to be set. That's where we fall into a trap. Raven, let me show you one that's similar. Let's say that I had this. Same type of problem, right? I've got a negative minus, just like I have here. What do you get when you start at a negative 2 and you subtract 1? Good. What did you do with the 2 and the 1 to get 3? You what? You added? Did we just say this? Did we just add those? Is it any different, the process? Don't get freaked out because they throw decimals in there. We just did the same thing, okay? We just combined those two. Why did we line them up, though? We didn't have to line up 2 plus 1 is 3. Why did we make such a production over here? Raven. Yeah, because of the decimals. We had to. Maybe we didn't have to, but just to be sure, we did. Okay. All right. That one. And try this one. I want to do is clear this up. So, any suggestions? Mark. All right, so very similar to the ones we just did. I'm going to start at negative 0.6. Okay. So I'm going to start there, and I'm going to go which direction? I'm going to go further to the left, right? I'm going to become more negative. So then, what did I essentially have to do with the 0.6 and the 6.7? Yes, add them. So 6.7 plus the 0.6 would give me 7.3, but the negative 7.3. Maybe got it. Negative 7.3. What happened? Well, what did you get then? Good. Clarification here. 10.1 minus 16.2. Okay. Now, this one's a little bit different because I'm starting at a positive, and it's going to cross me over into the negative. Okay? So I really need to find out the difference between the 10.1 and the 16.2. When I say I have to find the difference, what operation do you automatically think of? Subtraction. Now bear with me. Catherine, as you look at this, if you're going to start at a 10.1 and you're going to take away 16, where are you going to end up? What side? Are you going to be positive or negative? Good. I know that. You know that. It's going to be negative. So I'm going to take this 16.2, and I'm just going to find the difference between that and the 10.1. Because this is going to take me 10.1 to get to 0. Whatever's left is going to be where I am on the negative side. So I'm going to go ahead and just do the subtraction. It should be what? What kind of 6.1? Negative 6. Did you get it? Yes, no. Good. So sometimes you'll have to add when it seems like you're subtracting. Sometimes you'll have to subtract when it seems like you're adding, when you're getting bigger. Okay, so having to know. Having a plan, just knowing that we were going to be in that part helped us remember we were going to be in the negative side. Okay? Some of those things will just kind of work themselves out. Let's try another one. Negative 13.1 plus 8.7. Negative 13.1 plus 8.7. Give it a shot. Okay, any clarification? Anyone want to rewrite this one? Or leave it the same? Suggestions? Mark? Okay, so you went 8.7. Writing it that way, you didn't have to. It's your own preference. Should help you realize that you're going to get what kind of an answer? A negative. If you start with 8 and you take away 13, you're going to end up on the negative side. Okay? Now, how much on the negative side is the question? Well, what's the difference? Means I have to do what operation? But knowing whatever my answer is going to be, it's going to be negative. So 11 minus 7 is 4. 12 minus 8, 4. Should be negative 4.4. Did anyone leave it the same? Be the same. It should work out to be the same. You still got your negative 4.4. Okay. Let's do this. Let's we'll do page 77, 3 through 11. Just kind of start you off pretty slow there with some basic adding integers. And then, let's see. How about we'll do 12 through 17. So just 3 through 17 for tomorrow. I have a feeling this is going to be a 2-day. 77, 3 to 17. Not that many, so take your time. All right, math, page 56.